Hi, Leslie.
Hi,
How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Good. Nice to meet you. Thanks for taking a minute out.
Yeah, sure. Thanks for having me.
You bet. So, before we get into your life as a lawyer and all of the things that make you who you are, I want to know how you survived COVID. The last 3 years was quite a deal. It affected all of us in its own way. How did you survive it? And how has it changed the way that you live your life now that we're coming out of it?
Oh, wow. That is a loaded question for me because COVID was a really scary time. We had just bought a house and we had not sold our other house.
Oh,
And so um, we closed in February of 2020, right
oh,
before the complete shutdown. And so it was sort of terrifying. I called my dad, who was my touchstone for ever. And I just said, what am I gonna do? How am I gonna get through this? What's happening? And he just reminded me, everybody in the entire world feels the same way you do right now. No one
yeah.
knows what's happening. No one knows what's going to happen. So every single person feels this way. And that gave me a lot of comfort during that time.
Yeah.
Um, from a business perspective, we didn't know what was going to happen with personal injury with the law firm. Courts were shut down. And, I think really just taking it day by day is what helped me to survive. Um, I tend to live my life sort of with I don't want to say I'm overly optimistic. I'm a realist, but I try to just live with a lot of gratitude. And so just, getting through another day, um, and really being able to sort of focus on my family too. I mean, that was one of the positives, I think. I always try to look for the silver lining. And so I think focusing on my family, not having to run around crazy all the time for birthday parties and sports and all of the things was sort of a blessing. Um, Sort of caused us to slow down a little bit. And I think just focusing on, day by day, month by month until we got through it and came out on the other side.
I moved into a house in January of 2020, and
Okay.
I'd gotten married in July, and we fast tracked the whole thing. And I keep looking back thinking, man, if I would have been caught in that quagmire of that time period, it's like I don't even know what would have happened because no one could really do anything. There was all these precautions and everything that were going into it. So it was, it was wild
Yeah. Yeah,
for sure.
definitely. Um,
So where are you located?
I'm in Dallas,
Okay, you're in
Texas.
Dallas. Okay, I'm
Mhm.
in Kansas City. So,
Okay.
so let me get kind of a handle on exactly. Well, before I get to that, I want to point something out that always gets me. There's certain parts of Kansas City where the personal injury lawyers have billboards everywhere, and there's a guy in town here called Jungle Law, and they're the most bizarre billboards in the world. Like he's riding giant lizards and he's coming in like Tarzan and he has long blonde hair. And I'm thinking, is this a real dude? And he's a legitimate dude. And he has like, so look him up, look up Jungle Law, Kansas City, just so you can experience it since you're in the same acumen and this is what you do. It is the most bizarre thing. And I ran into a friend recently that said he is one of the most successful lawyers here. Everybody in school kind of thought that he was a little, just a little out there with what he was doing, but he's got a tremendous ad campaign and it's everywhere here. It's wild.
Yeah. It's funny. I never thought I'd do personal injury. And I always sort of had this disdain for personal injury lawyers. And I think a lot of people do because there's a lot of that marketing
Yeah.
for the cases. But my partner is really a marketing genius in my opinion. I mean, that's what he does best. I run the law firm and he really manages the marketing side of everything. And I mean, it just takes that because that's the kind of market that you're in. So if you're not doing it, someone else is going to do it.
Yeah.
Dallas is a big market, but it's a very competitive market. So you have to sort of put yourself out there in a different way, to get people's attention. And it's sort of like it's sort of creating the thing that people will remember, because you're not getting in a car accident every day or you're not getting hurt at a store every day. But when you do, it's going to be okay. Who comes to mind? For me when I do need a lawyer. And so I think that's what the marketing and the advertisement's all about. It's what's going to stick with people. Is it a catchy jingle? Is it something over the top? We definitely have some of the people with the over the top ads
Yeah.
here as well.
Yeah.
But I think that's the thing. It's what do you want coming to the forefront of people's minds when they do need a lawyer for that situation?
Most corporations don't necessarily need advertising like McDonald's and Coke and all that because we know them. But when you do keep putting that in front of people, I'm a communications major. I remember how much of that will continue to resonate. So when you do get to that point where you want something to eat quick, first thing you're going to think of is like a McDonald's or something like that. It's just because it's in front of you all the time, or a Starbucks if you want coffee or whatever it is. It's that repetition. And when you have that, and you're ready for it, there you go. It's in your brain.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly. And I think that's a lot of what personal injury lawyers are about.
Yeah.
Because if you're wanting a will or you're wanting a divorce or something like that, you may go and search who's the best divorce attorney, and that's just going to be a different type of thing. I mean, people can get in car wrecks very often. I mean, Dallas is saturated with traffic. I don't know about where you are, but we are a booming metroplex, and so there's just traffic everywhere.
Oh yeah.
So it's I just think when people are looking for a divorce lawyer or somebody to write their will, or they have a contract problem, it's just a little different type of client. It's a little different type of situation than what you're talking about when somebody's been injured in a motor vehicle accident.
So if you were to be in front of a bunch of third graders at a career day at a grade school and you had to explain to them what you do, a kid looks up and says, "Hey, what do you do for a living?" How do you explain that?
Um, that's tough because I do have a third grader, and I don't think he fully understands all that I do. Um, so I try to just keep it simple when I talk to my kids about I'm just here to help people. The healthcare system is tough to navigate when people are hurt, and the insurance companies are tough to deal with. And so, really, what I do is try to help people get through a difficult situation. And that's just in the simplest terms.
Yeah.
Um, but it's much harder to navigate, I think, than people anticipate,
Hmm.
just because I'm plaintiff's lawyer through and through, so I don't have a lot of love for insurance companies, but I think that their overall strategy, and I'm not going to say everyone, but overall, the strategy is deny, delay, defend. And so people just don't understand it. They're like, I was hurt. Shouldn't they be paying? And that's just not how it goes. I've been doing this for over 15 years now. And, um, and you really have to fight to get them to pay what's fair. I mean, most of the time our clients are fair-minded people. They're not expecting to win the lottery.
Yeah.
They
Right.
just they're just like, well, I didn't do anything wrong. So why is this so difficult?
Yeah.
And so that's really what I'm there to do, is to help people through a difficult situation.
So when you were in the third grade, what was your dream growing up? What'd you want to become?
So I really wanted to be an actor. I went to school for acting, got my Bachelor of Fine Arts in acting.
Yeah.
And I always tell people, even today, I think I really just wanted to play a lawyer on TV. That's a lot more fun, a lot lower stakes, I think. Because being a lawyer is stressful and going to trial is
Yeah.
stressful. So yeah, I think I really wanted to play a lawyer on television one day.
But that has to be good training though. I mean, it's not like, to be into that capacity of having to play a role and whatnot, that had to be a good lead in to what you're doing now.
Well, absolutely. I mean, part of my BFA was communications. Like you said, you took communications, and I think that anytime you get training in presenting yourself, it's beneficial.
Yeah.
Uh, in a lot of different careers, but particularly when you're a trial lawyer, because so much of it is trying to be persuasive. and you're conveying a message and you want to be likable.
Mhm.
Um, and there's just a number of factors that go into winning a case. It's not just about the facts, because you can have a great case, but if you have a terrible lawyer presenting it, it's going to fall flat with the jury.
Yeah.
So yeah, having the background, having the training in acting has really helped as far as just skills with the jury, and not only that, but with clients, with everybody. I mean, if you can communicate comfortably, and I'm actually an introvert, which is, you know, what makes it even more interesting, I think, because it's not necessarily my nature to be so um outgoing or talking to people. But having the right training can definitely help you.
For sure. Who's been a hero for you in your life?
Oh, my dad, 100%. Um, my mom passed when I was 10. And so he raised me from 10 until he passed in 2020. And I mean, and we were so close, but he definitely taught me, about hard work, just having a strong work ethic.
Yeah.
And I think that you can be smart, you can be talented, but if you don't have the work ethic to back it up, then I just don't think you're going to go very far in life. So that
Yeah.
was that was a big one for me. My dad, he was great.
Sure. So wanting to be an actor, actress, I'm curious if you can meet anybody alive on the planet right now, who would it be? Who would you love to talk to?
Oh my gosh. That's a tough one. Wow. Ooh, you know, um, this is kind of random, I think, but I'd really love to talk to Matt Damon. I love him as an actor. I think he's super talented. Um, I don't know. I would love to pick his brain.
I used
Um,
I used to listen to a lot of audiobooks and he does a lot of them.
yeah, yeah. I love that movie, The Martian.
Yeah.
And I love it, I think, because it's a problem solving movie. And I feel like I do a lot of problem solving daily. So I have a little sticky note on my computer that says everything is figure outable.
Yeah.
And so that movie just really resonated with me because it's problem solving the entire film. And I tend to just love movies like that, where people are sort of faced with obstacles, but they just figure out how to solve the problem. And I just think he's really talented. I just love the work he does. I love he's really involved, I know, in a lot of charity work, particularly with water in Africa. I think he'd be an interesting person to sit down and have a conversation with. And he just seems like a super nice guy.
Yeah. 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 It's funny you said post-it note because I'll never forget that scene in Good Will Hunting when he knocked on the door and said, "Hey, do you like apples?" And the guy's like, "What?" And he just slammed that number on the glass and said, "How do you like these apples?" I always remember that line. So,
Yeah.
so in your capacity, in your work and what you do with the stress level and everything that you go through, what is it that ultimately motivates you every day? What gets you up? What gets you moving? What gets you to the end of the day motivated?
Um, well, I think I just have that drive to succeed, to be successful, but a lot of it is for others. I think, I mean, I really do have um sort of a will to help other people. And whether it's to, help my clients, whether it's to provide for my family, I think I'm always just sort of making sure it's almost like a caretaker sort of thing. But helping my clients, showing my boys that you know um, women can be in leadership roles. These things are important to me, um, and so I think providing a good example for them, providing the best I can for my clients. I think I just have that innate desire to to perform at that level all the time.
So everything that you've done up to this point in your life, what are you the proudest of?
Oh, my kids. I know that's so cliche. People always say that, but yeah, I think it's funny. I was never sure I really wanted children until I had them, and I think it's such a privilege to be their mom. I mean, I've accomplished a lot of things. I feel like you know I could say managing partner of my firm, but I feel like that just doesn't compare to um, sort of crafting humans for the next generation.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. So what's been one of the best client success stories you've ever been involved with?
Oh, um, I had a really good case where we had a client who was hit by an 18-wheeler. Um, and it was a challenging case because there was some liability issues. Obviously, it's pretty confidential at the settlement at the end of the day. Um, but we were able to achieve a really great result for her that was life changing. I mean, this person went from sort of one level in her life to a different level. Um, and I developed a good relationship with her personally. I mean, once we were finished, she hugged me and we were both sort of just like, yes, this is the best result for you. And she had a son as well. So I mean, this was um it was exciting to see that this was going to put their life in going in a new direction. And so for me, that's very fulfilling.
So let's say you have a dream tonight. You run into the 20-year-old version of yourself, and you could give that version of you a piece of advice based on the wisdom you've gained up to this point in your life. What would you tell that young version of you?
Oh, I would tell her not to worry so much. I think I was a worrier in my 20s. I mean, I had a lot of insecurities, I think, just because I grew up in East Texas and small town life, it's sort of, I don't want to say groom because that's such a bad word these days. But it does sort of um mold you into this idea that you are supposed to be married by a certain age, that
Hmm.
you're supposed to have kids by a certain age, that
Yeah.
and if you're not doing those things, then somehow you're failing. And so I spent a lot of my time worrying that I wasn't on track or that I wasn't getting to these goals fast enough. But I, you know, I am a woman of very few regrets in my life. I really feel like things happen the way that they should. And that every failure in particular is a way to learn and grow. And so I'll just tell her, stop worrying about it.
Yeah.
Stop worrying. Yeah.
So let's say you have the chance to go back in history and see an event live, witness history live. Where would you go? What would you love to see happen right before your eyes?
Oh, that's a good question. There are so many. Right now, I think because of the way that our country is, I would love to see like the installing the creating of the Statue of Liberty,
Yeah.
because I just feel like, not to get too political, but I just feel like we're sort of lost as a country overall. It's just sort of out of whack right now. Um and to just sort of like refocus and remember what all that symbolized for people, and sort of how foundational that was. I just think that would be so interesting to just see, and what it represented for so many people.
Yeah.
um I just think that would be really cool.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I remember seeing that in New York and thinking, because all of my ancestors came from Italy, like what they finally felt when they saw that, because that was the welcoming beacon for a lot of people, they knew they made
Yeah,
it. So,
yeah, it
uh,
really can drop a lot of emotion.
yeah, absolutely. So, Leslie, everyone out there has a perception of you, family, friends, clients, colleagues, but you're in control. You live your life. What's your perception of you? Who do you think you are?
um I think that I'm a person who doesn't take themselves too seriously. And I don't think that a lot of people think that about me because I'm in such a serious profession,
Yeah.
and I'm always sort of between work and mom and all the things. But I I laugh at myself a lot. I make a mistake. I can be like, okay, Lesley, well, that wasn't the greatest idea. Um, and I think that's okay. I think that's one of the ways we get through life.
Yeah,
Is to be able to laugh at ourselves and not take ourselves too seriously.
I agree. If anyone out there wants to hire you, learn more about you, anything pertaining to your world, where do they go?
Well, you can, if you need a personal injury lawyer in the DFW area, you can go to benabbott.com, BENABBOTT. If you want to reach me personally, you can go to my website, lesleyholloway.com, LESLEYHOLLOWAY.com. Yeah, that's the easiest way to find me.
Excellent. Lesley, thank you for your time. Thank you for your story. I appreciate it. Best of luck with everything.
Thank you so much. It was a pleasure.
Thank you. Take care.